Hi, and welcome to Inky Fingers TV. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use the Stamp-a-ma-Jig to make the image that's on the front of this card. To find this image and the supply list and an alternate way of making this card, you can visit my blog at stamppaperscissor.blogspot.com, or there is a link to that blog on the Inky Fingers blog. So for your supply list and an alternate way to use this, make this card, just visit the blog. So let's get started. Okay, so what you'll need to make the front of this card is a piece of the Whisper White cardstock. You'll need the Stamp-a-ma-Jig, your Thanks So Much stamp, and the colors Cajun Craze and Baja Breeze. I love these colors. I'm a little bit obsessed with them right now, so you'll see them in a lot of the cards I've been making lately. You'll also need a way to clean your stamp because that's going to be really important in the steps. I use the Stamp and Scrub or a stamp cleaner, and you also need a scrap piece of paper to make sure that before you ink up your stamp that it is good and clean. Okay, so the first thing that you'll need is your Stamp-a-ma-Jig, and all it is this plastic handle and then the plastic sheet. What you'll do, and I've already stamped it, so I'm just going to show you how I stamped this image. What I did is I inked my stamp up with my StazOn, and I use StazOn when I'm stamping on the plastic because it's not going to smear or move the image any while I'm working with it. And all I did was I inked up my stamp. And then you take your stamp, and if you are working with a clear stamp that's on a block, you're going to do it the same way. You're just going to take the upper corner of it, and you're just going to put it right up into the corner. I'm going to show you right here. And you're going to make sure that it's tight all the way up into that corner. If you're left-handed, you'll be doing it on this side, but I'm right-handed. So you just make sure that that stamp is right up there in that corner. You'll put this up in the corner of this plastic sheet and make sure that they are snug up in there. Then you're going to take your stamp, like I said, and put it up in the corner, and you're just going to stamp down. What that's going to do is that's going to give you your image that we're going to work on to stamp all of the other images. So to stamp on the paper, the way I started this card is you're going to cut your paper, your Whisper White, you're going to use paper that's a little bit bigger so that you can stamp it and then trim it, because it's really hard to get it perfectly centered in a piece of paper that's exactly the right size. So you'll take your piece that's slightly larger than your card, Whisper White, and as you can see, I started with the image this way, facing me. So we're going to go ahead and line it up into this corner. Once you have it lined up perfectly, you're going to get your handle again, and you're going to line it back up in the corner of your plastic. Then you're going to remove the plastic while you're holding on to the Stamp-a-ma-Jig handle and the paper. You're going to hold it down so that it stays in place. Then you're going to take your ink and ink up your stamp. Then you're going to hold your handle down, and it's going to hold your paper and your handle in place. Then you're going to take your stamp and you're going to put it right back up in there into the corner. Then you're just going to slide it down and stamp. And what that does is it lines up that stamp perfectly where you lined it up with the plastic. Let me clean this off real quick. And I want to make sure that it's clean, and it is. Then I'm going to take my Stamp-a-ma-Jig, and I'm going to line it up right next to the other stamped image. I'm going to hold the plastic and paper down. I'm going to line this back up, hold that down, and then I'm going to remove the plastic. Then I'm going to take my stamp, and this time I'm going to ink it with the blue like it is on the card. Let me move that back over here so you can see it. Okay, once I have that inked up, I'm going to hold my handle again and hold the paper down. I'm going to put this stamp right up into the corner of the Stamp-a-ma-Jig, and then I'm going to slide it down. And you can see that that's created that image perfectly lined up where I wanted it to go twice. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stamp it twice towards me. So I'm going to move it like this, and I'm going to take my plastic sheet. I'm going to line it right back up again. I'm going to hold it down, the paper and the plastic sheet. I'm going to put my handle, line it back up into the corner. Then I'm going to hold my handle down in the paper, and then I'm going to slide my sheet out of the way. Then I'm going to stamp with blue this time again. I'm going to ink my stamp up. I'm going to hold my handle in my paper, line my stamp up right into the corner, and then slide it down. And as you can see, it's perfectly lined up. So then what you do is you just continue stamping in opposite colors until you have 6 images stamped. Then all you're going to do is you're going to take your paper trimmer, and I'm going to pretend like it's completely stamped, and then you'll just trim it out and put it on your card, and that's it. This is a fun card and a fun technique to use on so many different stamps. I hope that that's given you an idea of how to use the Stamp-a-ma-Jig. It really is an invaluable tool. I used to be scared and annoyed to use wood stamps, and now that I've discovered the Stamp-a-ma-Jig, it's like opened up a whole new world. So I hope that's helped you out a little bit. Check out the blog, inkyfingershappen.blogspot.com, and let me know if you have any suggestions for some more how-tos. See you later. Have a great Wednesday. Bye.